Okay, I have recently finished the main story for Jedi Survivor, and I can absolutely say I love this game. Now, I won't lie, there are a few performance issues, which are mainly, for me, frame rate issues. However, I can't really complain since my PC is just below the recommended requirements for the game. With that being said, the game ran much better than I expected, and I managed to get an average of 48 FPS, which is enough for me since I'm fine with at least 30. Though I will admit at times the FPS did drop significantly, which did impact the gameplay. But ignoring the performance issues, the game is great. It's everything I wanted from a single player Star Wars game and is a huge improvement from Jedi Fallen Order. I absolutely loved the main story and the development of all the characters, new and old. I especially love the relationship that develops between two characters. If you know, you know. I don't really want to spoil it. But also, without spoiling it, there was a certain character that showed up that I was absolutely not expecting, since I didn't even think they were alive, but it was just cool to see. There is also a thing that happens with one character that I don't want to spoil, but I absolutely did not see it coming, but was also done so well, and I enjoyed it a lot, especially since it kept the story going when I was expecting it to end, which was just awesome. In Fallen Order, they wrapped up the story in the game, not having a cliffhanger or leaving stuff to be answered in Survivor, meaning this game's story could have been anything, which I love. And slight spoiler, but this game also wraps up the main story in the game, which allows for the next game's story to be anything as well, which has me excited for the next game and how the story will continue. Now, this game has improved massively, as there are now 5 different lightsaber stances to choose from, whereas Fallen Order only had 2. I don't want to spoil how each stance works in case you haven't yet played the game, so you can enjoy learning how they work for yourself, but I was absolutely looking forward to the dual wield stance since I love dual wield, and when I was really young and playing Jedi Academy, I would always choose dual wield because it's just my favorite. And I was not disappointed with the way dual wield works in the game, and out of all 5 of them, it actually perfectly suits my playstyle and was the most enjoyable. I will mention that the blaster you get was a little disappointing, not because the mechanics of it didn't work well. It was more the fact that it was limited to one stance and not something you could use at any point. I would have preferred that they had just given it a button that could have been pressed at any time, but I play on a keyboard, so there are many keys to choose, whereas this is a game that was built for controller, so there probably wasn't a button left, which is probably why. It doesn't really matter though, since the blaster stance is good. I just never really used it since I just used dual wield the entire time. Now, the skill tree has improved massively, especially now that they've split it up, allowing for you to spend your skill points wherever, without having to waste them on a stance that you'll probably never use, which was just great. BD1 was also improved massively, especially now that he can be used as binoculars and became a lot more useful when solving puzzles that can be found on the maps. And speaking of maps, they definitely did not disappoint. This game was so much more open world than Fallen Order, and there are so many side missions to do, and you can even do some bounty hunting, which is awesome. Though I will admit, I was expecting more planets, but because of the size of the maps for the planets we got, I don't really mind. However, there is one planet that is a little disappointing. Now, a little spoiler here, but you spend practically the entire game trying to essentially get to this one planet, and at the end of the game, you finally get there, and the planet is nothing more than just an area to walk through as you get to the final boss. I guess there really isn't much there to actually explore, but I think they must be saving the planet for the next game. If so, I really cannot wait, but we'll have to see. There are a lot more different enemies to fight in this game, which is great, but in my opinion, it didn't really matter much as you hardly notice until you step back and actually have a look and realize that there are loads of different enemies you can fight. But more importantly, I did like the fact that in this game enemies can be seen patrolling and wandering around, whereas in Fallen Order they usually were just stationary, which was a nice touch. Now, this game did feel like it had a lot more bosses than Fallen Order, and I played on Jedi Padawan as I just wanted to enjoy the main story of the game first without being frustrated because I'm stuck on a boss, whilst also wanting to finish the game as fast as I can so I don't get spoiled. The bosses for this game were good. It was definitely an improvement from Jedi Fallen Order. I especially loved the fact that the cutscenes mid-fight would still play if you died, signaling that the boss has now changed his fighting style so you can adapt. Whereas in Fallen Order, they would just change and it would throw me off guard every time, which was always annoying. I didn't really get stuck on any of the bosses. They weren't too hard, but I was playing on Jedi Padawan and had been practicing the fighting mechanics on Fallen Order weeks prior. Though I will say Rick the door technician was an insanely hard boss. And if you haven't played the game yet, when you get to Rick the door technician, just prepare yourself. It's hard. Customization for this game has improved massively, as you can change Cal's appearance from his hair to his shirt and what jacket he's wearing, with loads of different options for colors. Both BD1 and lightsaber customization was improved as well, allowing you to customize more of the saber than you could in Fallen Order, and you can even customize your blaster. I absolutely love the improvements on the customization in this game, as they've done well. However, I beat the game and I barely found any parts for my lightsaber. Most of them I bought, which is a little disappointing, but I haven't explored all of the maps yet, so my saber didn't really change much after I got halfway through the story. Still a great customization system though. Now, the last little thing is the companion system. It's great and I absolutely love to have Merrin follow you around and fight with you, but this is only available at certain points during the story. I would have really liked that after the game is finished you could just ask her to tag along with you. Maybe it'll be an update, but it's just the way they've done it. She follows you around and is not teleporting to specific spots. She's literally pathfinding to you. So it probably wouldn't have been too hard for them to code it so that she can follow you around whenever you want. But it's not really that much of a problem. It's just something I'd like to continue doing even after the story's finished. Now that is pretty much all I can say without spoiling the game, but overall I am impressed and I absolutely love this game despite the performance issues. It's actually very fun and I 100% would recommend that you play the game. I was originally planning on doing a full playthrough of the game, but I decided to play the game since I didn't think it would run, but it did, and I ended up getting addicted and finished the main story. Now, I still actually want to do a playthrough, but the FPS does drop significantly more than it normally is when recording, and without recording the frame rate isn't exactly high. Like I said, 48 FPS is the most I can get. Sometimes I get 20 in certain areas, but when it's recording, sometimes it will drop around to 17 FPS, which is a problem. That's not nice to look at. I may still attempt to record one, so if you want to see me play through the game, then please subscribe. If not, then I may just do a few videos exploring the rest of the maps and doing some side missions. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you all soon.